Welcome to Career Conversations on Rosecrans, where we focus on all things START, the beginnings, the foundation, the internship, the first shot, and the matchups that elevate the power and importance of representation in internships. Today, we have Kimberly M. Foxx, the first African-American woman to lead the Cook County State's Attorney's Office, the largest prosecutor's office in the country in her second term. Shout out to that. Prior to being elected state's attorney, Kim served as the chief of staff for the Cook County Board president, where she was the lead architect of the county's criminal justice reform agenda to address racial disparities in the criminal and juvenile justice system. Born and raised in Cabrini Green, Kim is a graduate of Southern Illinois University, where she earned a BA in political science and a JD from the SIU School of Law. We also have Kayla Woodard. She is a junior at The Ohio State University, a former intern at the Cook County State's Attorney's Office. She is a scholar, a dog mom. She is interested in a career as an attorney combating inequities in the justice system, and one of the flyest students that I have coached coming from the west side of Chicago. Welcome.
Hey.
Hey. Thank you so much for being a part of the conversation today. I was absolutely on 10 about this match when it happened. Kayla came to me and said she was interested in a career in criminal justice. And I was like, oh my God, Kim Foxx is just the ultimate. This would be the best intern experience. And so I figured we could talk a little bit about that experience and then also talk about both of you.
Sure.
So the way that I would love to start is with you, Kim Foxx. What was your first internship? And then also, how did it pave the way for your future as an attorney?
You know, it was a non-traditional internship. I used to babysit for a doctor and his wife, and his father-in-law was a lawyer. And I had shared one day while I was babysitting that I had wanted to be a lawyer. I was 14. And he says, well, you should talk to my father-in-law. And so he put me in touch with his father-in-law, and his father put me on for a summer internship at his small boutique law firm, where I was, doing office work and filing. And then on one occasion, had to go to court and ask for a continuance as a 14-year-old. And damn near passed out when the judge called the case. So it was an informal internship, but it showed me that at 14, that there was space for me. There was things that I could do and have an impact even at that age. And I could only imagine what would be possible if I pursued that career in law.
Oh, that is a fantastic start. Because, sometimes it's not necessarily the internship in the attorney's office. Sometimes it's the babysitting gig. And the babysitting gig is what opens your eyes to those careers. That is, yes, for babysitting. I'm gonna go to you now, Kayla. What did it mean to you to intern in the office of the first African-American woman to lead the Cook County State's Attorney's Office?
Well, first, let me say thank you for this opportunity again, and congratulations on all of you guys' success. Personally, when I interned for the Cook County State's Attorney's Office at 18 and 19, I was super young, straight out of high school. The only lawyers that I knew were the ones I saw on TV. So being in this environment, being exposed to Black lawyers, to Black women in this career field that I saw myself in, not only served as an affirmation that we deserve to be in this space, and that we're just not the subjects of the people going through the criminal justice system, but we are the change agents. We are the people behind the scenes that are making things happen. So that was super powerful to me, to just be able to be in that space and be open and have my voice heard in that realm as well.
Oh, that just grips my heart. And that is also something that's important to you, Kim Foxx, that I've heard you talk about so much. You talk about representation and it being a part of your platform, and that's important to us here. You paved the way for Kayla to be able to intern in your office, and so of course I'm grateful for that. But why are these opportunities and just open doors and representation a priority for you?
It's a priority for me because, as Kayla said, I too didn't grow up around a bunch of lawyers. I grew up in the projects. And the only time that we saw lawyers were on TV, or if somebody was in trouble and people were trying to hustle some money together to help them. And so getting in this space, it's not even just about being Black and being a Black woman. I want the lived experience. There are unique circumstances that people who have lived a life that is been without privilege can bring to bear in this work. And so it's not even just that I want more Black women doing this work. I want more Black women from the projects, from the West Side, from, neighborhoods that have been long forgotten to take seats at these tables, to fiercely advocate for them, because I think that representation means that it elevates the game for the entire office, because you have such a unique perspective that others don't have. And so I rep super hard coming from Cabrini on everything that I do or say, because I know that there are young people in neighborhoods just like that who are being told that there's no space at the table for them. And what I want them to know, this representation means it's not, this is our table. And so I have to open the door and actively look for people who represent those backgrounds to come work with us.
Popping all day. And I heard you say in a speech one time, I never leave Cabrini at the door.
Never.
It comes into every room with me. And
That's right.
as a woman from Compton, who Compton never is exiting.
That's right.
Like I'm a believer in that. And Kayla reps West Side of Chicago so hard. It goes into every space she's in. So Kayla, let's talk a little bit about your intern experience. What was the work that you did, and what would you say was the best part of your internship?
Okay, so the very first day of my internship, I got to sit in on a double jury murder trial. So you can imagine that was super exciting for me to watch and just experience that. But in terms of the most powerful part, and what I felt the best part of the experience was, I got to have conversations and network with people that I would not have access to otherwise. So these behind the scenes conversations with attorneys, with judges, really shaped my view on how I can personally make a change down the road when I become a lawyer. So this interaction not only helped me secure what I wanted to do, but it allowed me to see myself in their shoes and how I would bring another perspective, like you mentioned, being a Black woman to the table. So of course I was doing a lot of copying some days, but that experience and holistically really shaped how I view law, how I view our justice system, and it really made an impact on my life.
And I'll say that I've heard you speak so many times, Kim Foxx, and of course you are just like bae. And you're a huge role model for young people like Kayla, and of course a role model for me. What accomplishments would you say you are most proud of as a state's attorney?
I think some of the things I'm most proud of are things that we were doing in this office that we said, no, it's not right that people in Cook County just get the benefit of having Kim Foxx as their state's attorney. So marijuana legalization, for one, we had stopped prosecuting marijuana offenses, but that wasn't enough for me. The state needed to make it legal, and then we needed to make it right. So we fought for the first legislation of its kind in the country that allowed for us to automatically vacate people with marijuana convictions, wipe their records clean. And that's a state law that right now, tens of thousands of Illinoisans have had their marijuana convictions vacated. I'm proud of the fact just this week, Illinois passed legislation, or the governor signed legislation that eliminates cash bail in Illinois, an initiative that we were pushing here in our office. And we were doing, that work in Cook, but now it's statewide. So I'm proud that I get into this office and get to be able to make changes for Cook County, but then make that law of the land, so that when I leave office, that those things can't be undone. And that makes me incredibly proud. That is, when you talk about legacy, for me, it is, I want to be able to look back and say, what did I leave behind? And those are two big criminal justice hurdles that we overcame that I'm very, very proud of.
Thank you for your leadership, Kim Foxx. That is incredible. And I live in Los Angeles, where I'm also seeing state's attorneys across the country,
Yeah.
including George Gascon,
Yep.
here in Los Angeles, carrying that banner that you began in Chicago. So thank you very much. That it's a strong legacy, and we see it all over the country. So thank you. And, Kayla, you were just a rock star in your interview process. You did your resume was completely on point. You interned in the Cook County State's Attorney's Office the summer before you even got into college. And one of those reasons is because you just represent the brilliance of Black and Brown talent in the West Side, in Cabrini, in communities all around the country. I would be interested in, what advice would you give other young people in Gen Z that are looking for internships, that are trying to secure opportunities, on the best path to do that?
For one, I would say ask for help. That's in general, because I've never gotten anywhere, especially with this internship, without asking for help and for mentorship and for leadership. And secondly, I would really hone in on the fact that you have to embrace your Blackness, embrace your womanhood, and bring that to the table, because that is what is going to distinguish you and allow you to bring another perspective, a valuable perspective, to any room that you step foot in. And this can go beyond just law. This is in the medical field and in education. So really understanding and valuing yourself is what really helped me be comfortable in these rooms that don't look like me at all. So I think that is what really kind of pushed me. And Halleemah, you honed in on this with me a lot when I had my red hair back in the day, But yeah, pretty much what I would say.
So, Kayla, I mentioned this to you, and this is something that I'll be sharing with Kim Foxx for the first time. My hair is blue right now, partly because of Kayla. I tell the story of Kayla wanting to be at a law firm. She's like, I really want a law firm internship. And she's like, well, Miss Nash, my hair is sometimes blonde, sometimes burgundy. Do you think that, I'll be able to get an opportunity? And I said, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. A lot of these corporate spaces are not ready for the authenticity that comes with our culture. So, I'm not gonna tell you to change your hair. Like, I'm gonna tell you that they might not be ready for you, and we could find you something else where you could be fully authentically yourself. And so what I did that fall, I started to pitch with purple hair. I started going into these spaces as Kayla would, and letting folks know, like, if you are having a hard time with me, and I've told this story before, with me and my purple hair, and I got a master's degree and I got 12 years experience, then this might not be a welcoming space for my brilliant students. And that started with Kayla. So thank you for, the mentoring relationship goes both ways, right, Kim? Like, there are things that we learn from students as we are hoping to teach them. So yeah, girl, bring the burgundy back. You know what I'm saying? Like,
absolutely. Listen, I have been wearing my hair natural even pre-pandemic, because I had a lot of young Black women who worked for us, and I worked at this office, years ago, and we were told the standard of neatness, which was, having your hair pulled back, a blowout. And I remember when I wore my hair curly the first time at work, I had a young assistant say to me, I lost my curl pattern here because I didn't think that I would be accepted. And that, again, was a lesson to me to show up like this. And I remember my daughter, who now just turned 18, when I was fretting about, like, do I go to work with my hair like this when I did it the first time? And she was like, well, why? And I was like, yeah, because the office, they frowned upon that. And she was like, ain't that your picture on the wall? And like, isn't that your office? So who gets to say how people wear their hair? And so, yeah, there is, my 18-year-old daughter told me, like, you get to say. And again, leaning into, I love that what you said, Kayla, leaning into those things that make you unique. And so, yeah, my new headshot that's up around the office is me with a big curly fro. It is sent as a signal to Black women in our office that you are welcome here. Let me show you what this space is going to look like. Because you you know, Halleemah, my hair blown out. It's lovely. It's long.
It's lovely. It's
It's
lovely.
lovely.
And this
But
is your
yeah,
the example is like, you know, professionalism that's anchored in identity.
that's right.
You
That's
know,
right. And it's a responsibility that we have. It's a responsibility. So I love that you were wearing the purple hair and doing that to make room for Kayla. I feel like doing this makes room for the next person who wants to see.
I love that. Thank you so much. And I guess my last question for you, Ken Foxx, is what advice would you give to Gen Z talent, particularly so many of these Black and brown girls that are interested in becoming attorneys and trying to get into the industry in some way, shape, or form?
I'm just going to piggyback off of what Kayla said. Ask for help, right? Go to organizations like Rosecrans and others to be able to say, look, these are what my dreams are. I didn't have someone walking me through the systems. It really was a babysitting gig that hooked me up with the person, and I wouldn't have even known what was possible. So if you have the dream, I had the dream of being a lawyer, but you're gonna need people to help pull you along the way. Don't be afraid to ask. And don't be afraid to, she said, lean into what makes you unique. We interview lots of people for internships at our office. And the thing that I look for, I can teach you the law. What I can't teach is empathy. What I can't teach is compassion. What I can't teach is resilience. What I can't teach is hustle. And I think for a lot of our folks, they have resilience, hustle, passion, and that comes from telling the story of who you are. So don't try to blend in because you can't. Don't try to like accommodate somebody else's vision of what you think. Lean into you, because those are the people that I find are able to have their needs met and meet the needs of the people that they work with.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for pulling up to Rosecrans for today's career conversation. Listen, follow Ken Foxx, follow Kayla Woodard. This is the future of law and leadership in our country. And I'm pretty excited about what that future looks like. So thank you both.